Hello my lovelies, happy Wednesday. I hope you're okay, hope everybody is well. We have had a lovely old day. Sarah and I were up at Landock Quilters today. We taught a little class. They all made accordion pouches and they all finished. It was brilliant. They did a really great job. We did a little pop-up shop while we were there as well, so that was really lovely. And it's only down the road. It's literally like a mile and a half down the road, so that was nice. Not too much travelling this time, which was lovely. Came home, we've unpacked the cars, which was nice. Got everything back on the shelves. We haven't even got to deal with that in the morning. And then I've been catching up. I've been doing a little bit of sewing ready for Sunday, and then I've been sneakily watching Gail's Sewing Street shows on my phone, because you can rewatch them for like 7 days. Gail from Endless Thread was on Sewing Street today. She had loads of sellouts, loads. I'm not surprised because I love her stuff. You know, we're massive fans of our Gail, and she did some beautiful kits, and a lot of it sold out, which was brilliant for her. So I'm hoping it's going to be the same on Sunday for me. Let's say hello to some people. Hi Elaine, hi Jean, hi Claire. Hello my darlings, how are you? There was something else I was going to tell you and I've forgotten what it is. It'll come to me at some point. I'll remember. But yeah, it's been a nice start to the day. So we're going to crack straight on with it tonight. Oh, you're not late, Lynn. You're absolutely fine. You're bang on time. I haven't started anything yet. Nothing at all. So we're just chatting shit. Sorry. Chatting rubbish. It's me swearing. I don't swear. Well, I swear like a trooper in real life. I try not to swear on here. That one slipped out. Hi Leslie. Hi Marilyn. Hi Grace. Hello my darlings. Right, I'm going to whip over to the overhead. What we're going to make tonight is we're going to make one of these. Okay, so I've called this Pots of Points. So I've been playing around with this for ages, and I was thinking of poinsettias for Christmas. The light's really bizarre, sorry. I was thinking of poinsettias for Christmas, and I wanted to change them into some sort of like 3D pot, because I'm thinking I could fill this with the little red lint chocolate balls. You know, because, you know, Christmas time and all. I know it's September, but we've got to start thinking about Christmas. And, you know, I always put like a bowl on the table of sweeties and stuff for people who are coming and stuff. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have one that looked like a poinsettia? And it doesn't really look like a poinsettia, but it does kind of look like a flower. And I've done it in red, but this is what I've come up with. And I'm actually really pleased with it. It's come out really well. It's nice and sturdy. I've used Bosal in this one, but Bosal is really difficult to get hold of at the moment. So we're going to try it this evening with interfacing and normal wadding H640 in there to see how it goes. But I mean, it's a good old size. I'd get a lot of the red chocolate balls in there, wouldn't I? I could get a good 2 or 3 boxes in there. So, but I also thought if maybe you're doing like a little hamper present or something like that, you know, for somebody, you could put a bit of tissue paper in the bottom, put a few like little miniature bits, you know, maybe some little bath washes or bath bombs and stuff, you know, into some cello would make a really nice present as well. And they're relatively easy to do. You need a long quarter of 2 fabrics basically. Now I actually used 3 on this one, but a long quarter of 2 is more than enough. You could, you know, you don't have to make it look like a poinsettia. You could do other things. That's why it's called Pots of Points. It's just a play on a word, because it doesn't really look like a poinsettia. I've used this one. Is the batik, the Twinkle Lights batik, which has got that little bit of gold on it. And I've used one of the coordinating batiks on the back. And then I actually had a bit of green, which I used there. But the one that we're going to do tonight, I'm actually doing in... I'm using just normal cotton rather than batiks, and I think this is the Jolly Old St Nick one, so I thought I'd do one with all these pretty baubles on it, and then this little scatter is my second one. So we're going to see if this works not using Bosal. Now, like I said, I had scraps of Bosal left, which is what I did with this one, but we can't get Bosal at the minute. It just seems to be out of stock everywhere, and it's really expensive. It's like almost doubled in price, Bosal. I have got a different foam stabilizer coming in, which we're going to give a go, but tonight we're going to do we're going to put interfacing on the back of one, and we're going to use H640, and I think it's going to work like that. So fingers crossed, my lovelies. So you will need a template for this. Now, where's my circle? I've put it on the website already. You're going to need a petal template, okay? And you're going to need a circle as well, okay? The template's £2. It's all drawn out for you. It's a digital download. It's on the website. Just search pots of points, and the template is there for you. However, you can kind of make your own if you want to. You know, this is a 5.5 inch circle, or 5 inch circle. Can't remember now. 5 inch circle, and then I've kind of made my petal shapes, but the template is there ready on the website if you want it, okay, if you want to have a go at this. And then, like I said, you'd need 2 long quarters of 2 different fabrics. You could do it in all scraps, and each petal could be different colours if you wanted to, you know, if you didn't necessarily want to what's the word, oh my goodness, make it Christmassy. I couldn't think of the word Christmas then. Oh, Stifle is the one that I've got coming in, Leslie. That's what I've got come in, which is supposed to be very much like Bozal. So that's what I've managed to get hold of. So I'm hoping that'll work. But it seems to be, you use it, which is brilliant. Carol, you look lovely in pastel colours. Yeah, for an Easter egg hunt. Or change baskets. Trick or treat, that would be good. If you use like oranges and blacks and purples, or some Halloween fabrics, and if you do trick or treaters, yeah, you could have your trick or treat goodies in there, couldn't you? Just on the, you know, ready to hand out and stuff. So it's you know, and then it's nice and stable though. I was really pleased how this has come out. So you need 8 petals in total. I've already pre-made some, okay, because you don't need me to watch me make 8 petals, but I'll just go through on how we're going to make the petals, okay. So I've interfaced one piece of, these pieces are 6.5 by 4.5, okay. So I've interfaced one, okay. The other one, I've fused that to some H640, but if you've got scraps of wadding, you could just spray base that. Okay, let me just come up to the close-up. How are you all anyway? You all okay? What I wanted is my pen's vanished. There we go. And then on the piece that's got the interfacing on, I'm just going to put my petal down and draw around it. Now I've traced my petals onto some pelmet interfacing. I found it really, really easy to draw around then. It was much easier than trying to draw around the paper. So I thought, well, because I'm making a few, I had some little scraps of pelmet interfacing that weren't really big enough for anything. But I thought, well, perfect for templates. Okay, and that I can keep for ages now, because that's not going to rip like a paper template. Hi, Anne. Hello, my darling. Hi, Helen. Hello, my love. Right, so I'm going to put this right sides together. So I've drawn around my template, that petal shape. I've fused my my other fabric onto the wadding, and then we're going to put these right sides together like that. Now this is directional, okay, so I want my petals to be directional. Have a think about that. So this is the top obviously of the petal, this is the bottom. So if you're using a directional fabric, think about what way you want it to go. Okay, so I'm just going to put those right sides together and pop a pin through the center, and then we're going to go over to the machine and we're going to stitch. I'm going to leave a gap in the bottom here, okay, just there, and then we're going to go all the way around like that and leave a gap, okay. And I want to leave sort of about a 2-inch gap, okay. So I'm only sort of coming in about 1/2 inch on the corners, all right, because there's quite a lot of bulk to turn through. So over we go, and I know I've got a green thread in here because I'll show you in a minute why, and I don't want to have to keep changing, but this is all going to be on the inside so you won't see it. So just going to follow that line, and you're stitching on the line that you've drawn from your template. We're just going to stitch all the way down, all the way through all those pieces to make my petals. And you've got to do this 8 times, but I prepped a few ready, so hopefully I'm pretty sure it's going to work with the H640 and some some firm interfacing on there. But yeah, we've got some, like I was saying, Bozal is brilliant stuff and really great for doing 3D work, but it's so expensive and quite difficult to get at the moment. I don't know why. We used to be able to get it all the time, but a lot of the people that we normally buy from for the shop, they haven't had it in stock. So I've managed to get some of the Vaseline style fill foam, which according to Leslie's almost the same. So I'm hoping, because I've not used that one before. So stitch all the way around. I've left a nice big gap in the bottom. There we go. How many petals do you make? You make 8 in total, lovely. Okay, I've already prepped the others, but you're going to make 8 of these in total. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to use pinking shears. If you don't have pinking shears, cut it out with like a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then you just want to clip into your curves. But pinking shears, if you have them, means you don't have to do any clipping, because you can just cut round this, and I'm leaving just under a 1/4 inch, bit more than 1/8, not quite 1/4, whatever that is. 3/8, is that right? I don't know. It confuses me all the 3/8 and stuff. There we go, like that, and then we're going to cut off the bottom as well. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to turn this through. We're going to turn this through the gap, and you want to make sure you're turning it through as I did when I was making the prototype. I kept trying to turn it through on like here, and thinking, why is it getting stuck? And I kept trying to pull the whatchamacallit, oh my god, I can't think of any of my words today, the wad in. So make sure you're opening up with the fabrics. Jean, it's a bit like the fabric succulent. Sarah, yes, it would be. Oh, you could make this into, yeah, yes, absolutely, the same sort of idea, making all these petals and then putting it all in. It is exactly that. Yeah, you could make it in more like a, rather than it being Christmassy, you could make this, in all different greens. So it would, like, be nice to actually gift a plant pot in. You could put a plant pot in there, couldn't you? With a pretty flower and everything as a gift. That would work too. So, hang on, I'm just struggling to get all this through. I'm just going to talk amongst yourselves when I push this through. There we go. Okay, grab me my very posh wooden chopstick thing that Sarah gave me. I found it. I was cleaning up my sewing room the other night and it had fallen out of the pot. And I found it. I was like, oh, that's where it's gone. So gently poke out those corners. Okay. And then down the sides, make sure that's all nice and neat out, and press out that top bit there. There we go. Okay, so I've got my sort of petal shape like that now. I'm going to give this a press. There we go. Get the iron hot, that would help. I haven't used it for a few minutes. So I'm just going to tuck in that seam allowance as well, where the turning gap is. So I've just tucked that under so it's all in line, and we're going to give this a good press. So press there, like that, and give that good press all the way over. Not quite a lot of bulk there. It's quite, you've got interfacing, you've got wadding, 2 layers of fabric, so really good press. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to the machine, and we're just going to top stitch this closed, and then we're just going to add in some sort of like vine, sort of, the leaf, the veins on a leaf. So you can see here on this one that I've already done, I've just kind of added in a little bit of sort of dimension with the leaf. Okay, so top stitch that closed first, and then we're going to go ahead and just freehand some little lines to make like the veins on the leaves. So okie doke. How is everybody? Has anybody been up to anything fun? What have you been doing? We've got a busy few months coming up. I always say that we're busy, but I don't know, it never seems to be quiet, which is not a bad thing. But all right, I'm just going to go, so I've top stitched, all I'm doing now is coming back to the centre so I can just do those lines in. So I'm just going back over my top stitch until I'm roughly in the centre, and then I'm just going to straight stitch some lines in like that, and turn it. I'm going to go back over the line to come over here, and then just one up there. I'm not being overly fussy about it, it doesn't have to be exactly on the line. It's just a little bit freeform. I think it is going to be firm enough, lovely. I'm hoping it's going to stand up nicely once I put it all together. Going to West Point External. Oh, is it the ICHF show? We have done that one in the past, but we just had to cut down the amount of shows that we did, just because we didn't have enough. There's not enough hours in the day. There we go, and back stitch. Okay, so if we come back over here now, you can see all I did was just top stitch here and then just kind of did that sort of line. Trim off all of your thread ends. If you back stitched all, you can just trim those off nice and neatly like that. And I found, again, do it as you go, because otherwise you end up with all the thready bits. You are going to make 8 of these, okay? Now I've already done a bit together, but when you've got 8 of them done, but now we're going to put them together to kind of make that circle bit. So what you want to do, so this isn't an exact thing, okay? This is a approximate, about 1/2 inch in, okay? So if you look here on the mat, that's about 1/2 inch in there. You're going to overlap this one about 1/2 inch at the bottom, and then just gently, I mean, minuscule amount, just kind of push it out. So you don't want them dead straight, you just want to splay out the top a little bit, okay? So I've got this about 1/2 inch away, overlapping here. So there's my 1/2 inch, like that on top, and then just splay it out. Again, a tiny little bit, okay? There's no exact measurement for that. All I'm going to do is just going to pop a clip in that just to hold it down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over to the machine, and I'm going to start up here, and I'm just going to stitch all the way down this one side, okay, to start with. So I'm going to start up here, just where they overlap, and just top stitch all the way down. So about 1/16 of an inch away from the edge, all the way down. Could you use cording for the leaves? Oh, Jill, that's a nice idea. You could do some cord. You know, what's that? Oh, Sarah did it. What's it called when you put like wool and stuff in? What's that called, guys? Ah, not trapunta, that's the stuffed one. We did it on one of the retreats. Sarah did a whole class on it. What's it called, peeps? When you put thread or wool in the top and then you stitch it on and it gives you those really pretty designs. Somebody remind me what it's called. Oh, the word, I tell you what, I've lost all my words today. Couching, that's it, Anne, couching. Yes, you could absolutely do some couching on there. That would be really nice, Jill. Really nice idea. So I've about 1/16 of an inch away. Okay, and I'm just going to come all the way down this side. There we go. Right down to the bottom. Get rid of that clip now. And come down to the bottom like that, and again just back stitch or lock stitch at the bottom just to hold it all down. Telling quilting. Couching, the girls got it for me. Couching, that's the word I was looking for. It was because Jill said corded and I was like, oh, that's not quite the right word. What am I thinking about? Couching, that's it. Sofas, couches. Right, chop off that edge there and chop off that edge there. And then can you see when you turn it over, you've got this little flap here, okay? Because obviously that's the under bit. We're going to flip it over and we're going to repeat that process. So you're going to stitch down here now, okay? Just like you did this one here. Stitch from there all the way down. There we go. So and again, about 1/16 of an inch all the way down. Like that, right to the end, and then back stitch. Cool. How's everybody getting on with their mystery challenges? Those of you who have bought them, have you decided what you're going to do yet? Do you know what you're doing? Have you got an idea, or you all completely stumped? How are you doing? Have you started, or are you still in panic mode? Let me know. Okay, right, so there we go. I've got 2 put together. You then just carry on. So there's my 2 there. There's my first 2. I would then just add another one on like that, and then another one, and you're stitching down both sides, okay? So I've done 6 in a row there, all right? I'm going to add these other 2 on the edge. So again, 1/2 inch away, overlap it, and then overlap, and then just tweak it a little bit at the top. No idea yet. Oh, you're going to have to get your thinking cap on, Helen. And then again, we're just going to do that exact same thing. So we're going to stitch down and then flip it over and stitch the other side. So you've got that kind of idea happening. Okay, this one's going to be really busy. On the screen it looks really busy. Okay. Jean, you haven't started yet, but you've got an idea. Oh, good-o. Well done. Well done. I love the mystery challenges for our birthday. We've been doing them for, well, every year we've done them. In the 10 years that we've been going, we've done one of the mystery challenges on our birthday. And I just love seeing all of your ideas. Absolutely love it. What's that, Claire? Do you need to use all the different fabrics? No, you don't have to do all of the fabrics, but I would like you to use the majority of them if possible. Make the fabrics you've got the showcase. You know, don't just use one of them and then a metre of another fabric. You know, try and do the majority of them. You've done half your mystery thing. When the closing date? The closing date is oh, now you've got me. It's something like the 20th of October. Remember, you don't have to send it in to us. You just have to send us a picture so it can go on the online gallery. Right, so I've stitched down that one. I'm just going to flip it over, throwing things around, and do this side now. Get that thread out the way. Oh, what's it doing? What's my machine doing? There we go, that's better. Did something odd then. And there we go. Your machine is so quiet. Is it industrial? No, it's a Benina. I was very kindly gifted this machine by J&B Sewing, who are based over in Newport, and they gifted me the machine to use on the lives. It's a Benina 570. It is quiet, and I love her. I was always a brother girl, always a brother girl, until I always thought, like, Beninas, I'm not sure why people are so obsessed with them, but I understand now why, because it's amazing. Right, I'm just going to go to the slightly wider overhead so you can see the whole thing. So at the minute you've got this lovely sort of like flat looking thing. What we're going to do now is we're going to bring this round to create that piece like that. So you're going to overlap. So this one is the left hand side is going to overlap the right hand side. So again, you want about 1/2 inch at the bottom and just splay it out a little bit to create that shape. This is going to work. You don't need Bozel, you can use this. There we go, like that. Okay, and again, now this is a little tricky because you've got to really think about getting your needle in there. Okay, so I'm going to start on the outside first. I'm going to stitch down that one there, and then I'm going to flip it and stitch down that one. This is the only mega tricky bit. All right. Jean's got the same one as me, same Benina, and yeah, I love her. Now I'm going to take the table off, okay, because it's a lot easier to get my needle under here. Okay, so hang on, just got to wiggle that under there like that, making sure all of this is out of the way. The thing I love about it so much is, like, even though I had the Brother 1800, which I loved, absolutely loved it. Let me just get that back in line. It still struggled with some thicknesses, and even with Bozel and all, it just didn't like it. But because it's got like this built-in drive, can you see this thing is basically a built-in walking foot? It will handle any thickness at all. Hang on, just making sure I'm not getting anything caught. This is the only tricky bit, and it's not that tricky as long as you go slow and steady. It's really hard to keep my hand out of the way. There we go. This would be a nice little hand for Easter egg, absolutely it would, or trick or treat. So I've stitched down that one, and I've got to do the same on this one. So you're going to turn it this way, this is very hard for me to show you now because all of this is going to be in the way of the camera, but we're going to stitch down that as well, okay? So I'm sorry if you can't quite see, I'm trying to keep that out of the way. Just moving all this out of the way, come on. I think this is going to block, I do apologise. I've just got to do that last stitch, and I can't get this out of the way and see what I'm doing. Here we go. This is where I need a camera on my head, really, isn't it? I should wear a little camera on my head so you could get a view in here. There we go. And done. That's it. Sorry, that was very difficult to show you that bit because this bit just wants to spring up out of the way. But it's done. Right, pop that back on. And back over here. Okay, and you've got that looks like that. Let's just trim those ends off again. Where's that long one? There it is. Like that. Now, I've chosen, I think you see more of the inside of the basket than the outside, you know, because of how it sort of splays out. So I've chosen to have the prettier fabric that, well, I think it's prettier fabric on the inside, but you could absolutely change your mind and have it that way if you wanted to. Okay, either or, but I want the green on the inside. So we're going to put that aside for now and we're going to make the base. So the base we're going to make in exactly the same way as we did the petals. So I've put some interfacing onto this one, which is the cream one that I'm using. And then I'm just going to iron. These are 6.5 inch squares. I've just made it, you know, this is only a 5-inch circle, so I've been very generous. But, yes, a little GoPro on my shoulder. I could strap one to my head or something, or put it on my shoulder, shouldn't I? That would be a good idea. And you'd be able to see right in then, rather than trying to do it over my shoulder. So the H640 is fusible. It's just a fusible fleece. They call it fleece, but it's basically wadding with glue on it. Just giving that a good press to fuse that down. And just like we did with the petals, I'm going to put that right sides together with my other fabric like that. And then I've made my circle template, which was 5 inches. A camera above the needle would be good. Yeah, I might need to see if I can get like one on a mount that comes over, right over, on a little like spring mount that's on the back of the machine that comes over, so it sits looking in rather than that side look. That'd be something else for me to give my husband to research, wouldn't it? Right, all the way around like that. Okay, and I'm going to stitch all the way around, but I'm going to again leave a gap in the bottom so I can turn it through. Pop a pin through just to hold that. Stitch all the way around on that line. Yeah, I could do with the camera just here, couldn't I? Right, just there, so you can actually see like my point of view rather than this side one. But I did used to have the camera here, like this camera was mounted here, but it was so difficult to get my hands around. I just, yeah, couldn't do it. So I had to put it off to the side. There we go. And again, all the way around, just go a little bit slower to get a nice neat circle. Follow that line. I thought we should probably do a challenge post. I haven't done one for ages and ages. So I think we should do something Christmassy. Let's do a Christmassy. I want you to show, we'll do a challenge post. I'll put a post up on our Facebook page once I've finished, okay? And the challenge post this time is Show Me Christmas. I know it's September, but we've got to get started, okay? As quilters and crafters, you've got to start early. So I'm going to do Show Me Christmas. And then next Tuesday on the live, I will remember, and remind me next Tuesday morning when I see you, remind me that I've got to do the challenge post. I will draw it and we'll do a little winner, okay? I'll find you something nice in the, send it out to the lucky one out of the drawer, okay? As long as it's put me in the eye. I know, Claire. It could very likely do if I put it there. No, I think coming over the top of the machine actually might work. That might work actually. I might see if I can get one of the little webcams on a on like a bendy neck rather than the sort of like they're quite stiff. The like this one here that's above, it's on like a metal pole, and the one by the camera is on like a bracket. So the one by the camera by the machine is on like a bracket. So all the way around again. There we go. always leave just a little bit more at the gap, so I've got a bit more to tuck in. You'll try and remember. Christmas starts in July. It needs to sometimes, doesn't it? There we go. Right. We've had the Christmas fabrics in since July, that's for sure. We've got some beautiful ones in at the moment. Really, really gorgeous ones. So, there's ones with cats on and dogs. The dog one that we've got in is gorgeous. There's a very sweet Christmas, which is arranged by Moda, which has got little penguins on it, but it's really gentle. It's not like in your face Christmas. The Twinkle Lights is scrumptious as well. That's the batik that I used, if you like batiks. Oh, come on, nearly there. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves a second, guys, while I just get this through. Come on. Nearly there. There we go. And it suddenly goes, doesn't it? And then I was watching Gail a moment ago before I came on her Sewing Street demos, and she had a really good tip. She uses a teaspoon when she's trying to turn through like circular shapes. She uses a teaspoon because it like presses the circle out. It was such a good tip. I'd not heard that before, and I was like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. So I need to get a teaspoon in here now as well. Here we go, nearly there. Push all that out like that, and then you've got to try and follow the circle as best you can on the turning gap. There we go, that's not too bad just there. Let's do the line, the cream first. It's not too bad. Here we go. Give that a really, really good iron again. And then tidy that up that side like that. Okay, now I'm not going to bother to top stitch this or close up that because of how we're going to put it in. It'll all get closed up anyway. If you wanted to, you could just hand stitch that closed if you're worried at all. This is a fun project. Oh, bless. Sewing machine's poorly not working at the moment. Oh no! Oh no! Considering a new machine is only having one, it's not good. It's not. You need at least one backup machine, Ali. At least one backup machine. As Sarah, she's got like 4 backup machines. I've got one. I've got my little brother that sits. I don't use very often now, but it's my backup machine. I'm now going to decide. Do I want the white? What do you reckon, guys? Do I put the white in the centre or the green? Which way round? Which looks better? Should I put the green in? So it's green on green. Or does it look better having the white in the centre, the creamy colour in the centre? What do we think? You've already... Oh, I missed a couple of comments. I didn't see them. What do we think, guys? I think maybe the cream. I think I like that best. I think that looks better then, doesn't it? And then you've got the green coming out there. What do we think? Green? Cream. Shall I go with... Oh, no, you're all... Oh, white, green. So some of you are thinking the green in the centre, like that. And some of you... If only... Yeah. Ali, come up and steal one of her spare machines. You're not that far away, my love. We'll get her to meet you in the middle. Green. More people are saying green. I'm going to go green because more of you are saying green. Right, so green goes on like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to attach this all the way around. Okay, now we're going to attach it from the outside and we're going to top stitch all the way around. And what that does is give this a little lip, which means it sits nicely on the table. Cream centre. Hi Eileen, how are you? Lovely. Just looking forward to catching up on another day. Oh, lovely. Need finished pictures and notes on joining the Manx blocks for the season's class. Oh, fabulous. Oh, so glad you're doing it, lovely. Right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop one pin in. Now, I don't like that, okay, to start me off. When I was playing around with these, it got taken apart about 6 times, okay, about 6 times. But in the end, I found it's much, much easier. If you try and put it under the machine that way to top stitch, it's not going to work, okay? You need to put it with the flat circle down and squish this down and work it around. And if you try and pin it, that doesn't work either. So all I've done is put one pin in just to get it started, and we're going to work our way around top stitching along here. The other thing I did was I changed my foot and I put my zipper foot on. I know that sounds strange because we're not working with zips, but it really helped. Where's the zipper foot gone? There it is. I'm going to put my zipper foot on because I had the foot then wasn't interfering with the bulk in any way. It really, really helped because honestly the circle on the bottom came off about, I unpicked it about 6 times because I just couldn't get it to go nice and neatly. But oh, no, go away. What are you doing? Stupid machine. There we go. And then I'm just going to move the needle over. There we go. This is a slow and steady, this bit. Okay. I'm going to start. So I've got the circle flat because that way you can really squish all this down. Now I'm just going to basically we're going to top stitch these together. So I'm picking a spot and I'm going to do a couple of stitches and stitch. Okay, you can take that pin out now. And we're going to work our way round, moving. Where has it gone? Come here. Right, hang on. Get that out. That's it, got it. And we're going to put this together. It's a bit like when we're doing the curves, little bit by little bit. You know when we do the Cheats Drunkard's Path, and you've just got to squish this, and because it's nice and squishy, you can. You've got to take your time and do a little bit at a time. Okay, I'm making this look way fiddlier than it's because I'm trying to keep normally I'd have my hands here, but I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way for you guys. A little bit more. There we go. It's not easy trying to hold it with my left hand so you guys can see what I'm doing. And go all the way around. And I'm doing less than 1/4 inch. It's about 1/8 of an inch. So a bit more than a top stitch. And I've lengthened my stitch as well. My stitch is up at like 3.25 now. Okay. Hi Marion, how are you, lovely? I'm trying to keep my finger out of the way, but now I can't. But then I can't see what I'm doing. Right, move all that. There we go. Get in there. And all I'm doing is concentrating on this little bit, making sure everything's flat at that point. Hang on, let me just move that over. Because you don't want any, you don't want it horribly increased like this. So I'm just moving it out of the way with my left hand. Moving it again. Moving it again. There we go. Move again. Making sure it's nice and flat under, just on the bit that's under the needle. Come on. Get that out of the way. There we go. Nearly there, guys. It's trying to keep my hands out of the way. Oh no, moved it. Hit the wrong bit on the machine. Oh damn it, what did I do? There we go. That's where I want to be. All the way around, nearly there. Hang on, just move this bit here. That's it. I'm making this look way, why is my needle not staying down? I must have hit something on the, there we go, nearly there. It's so much easier when I can have my hand here and I can hold this bit as well. But if I do that, you guys can't see. You could hand stitch it, absolutely. I did try and hand stitch it, but frankly, my fingers started hurting. And this is so, honestly, this went on a lot easier when I could have my hand here. But if I do that, you guys really can't see anything, because what I did was I had my hand here to hold this bit down, and it was so easy, it went on really nicely. But you won't see a thing if I keep my hand there. So I'm trying to do it so that you can still see what I'm doing. And we're round. There we go, almost done. Oh, Right, I've done something to my machine because my needle's not staying in now. I've hit a button that I shouldn't have done, I think. Because my needles, I have it normally with needles staying in, so that, and I think we're back to the beginning. There we go. Right. You could absolutely hand stitch it on. I did just attempt to hand stitch it on, but frankly my finger hurt a lot because I was going through bowsor. I think going through the wadding would be fine. There we go. And we're over. Oh, I need to just hand stitch that closed. Didn't mess that bit up. That's where it was supposed to be I didn't hand stitch it closed first, but I can do that after the fact. But there we go. That's actually gone in really nicely. Okay, all the way around like that. That just needs hand tacking. That was the gap, the opening. I didn't do it first, I meant to. But all done like that. You've got that really nice. Now I would give that a really good press. Okay, you want to get in there. I need to just tack that in, back in, hand stitch that closed. And you've got your really pretty little basket. Now, if you wanted to, because it's malleable? That's the word I'm looking for. You could actually turn it all the way over like that if you wanted a more shallow dish, and your petals kind of sit like that. And then when people give you more boxes of Lindt chocolates, you can go, oh look, I need a bigger dish, and you can fill it right up. So if you've only been given one box and you need a little shallow dish like that, lovely. Just a few little Lindt chocolates in there. But then as you get given another, or you just buy yourself another box because they're delicious, flip that up and you've got that really, really nice shaped. I just like the shape of the bowl. I think they'd be really cute on your craft table as well for keeping all your scraps. You know, if you're somebody, I mean, these are too little, but you know, if you keep all your bits of scraps as you're doing a project, really nice and easy to put on. Okay. I made that look a lot. I promise you, I made that look a lot harder than it was. It was because I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way. If it's when it's under the machine, you can put your hand through and just hold that little bit like that as you go round. It keeps this from catching, which this one is exactly what I did with that one. But actually, that has held up just as well as the bosal. I think the bosal is a little bit firmer. I think the petals have kept their shape slightly better, but I think that's worked really well with just the interfacing and the wadding. Hang on, let me come to the bigger one. Definitely need the full petal. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You need to fill that up. Fill that up with goodies. But yeah, that's holding its shape, you know, really nicely. You know, and once you've got stuff in there, you know, you could use it just with your pretty fabrics as a little craft container, you know, as a thread catcher or something. Yeah. I think it's slightly better with bosal. Slightly. I do think it's held its shape just a weeny bit better than the one without, but it's still really pretty. And I think actually, yeah, say you're doing a Secret Santa or something like that, you know, maybe you with your craft group, you know, I mean, I would do something like this for, put some tissue paper out, put a nice new mug and maybe some sachets of nice coffees or some nice coffee beans or something, or some specialty teas, you know, and then wrap it all up in cello, and it would just be a really, really lovely little present for people. You know, and then they've got that little bowl as well. If you're gifting a flower, a plant, I think a plant would sit in there beautifully. Really, really nice. Even if it's like the fake plants. Hang on, let me get my fake bit of thing from, you know, I mean, that's not the right one, but, you know, you imagine you were gifting a plant or something, you know, have that all in there too. That would actually look nicer than just a dodgy old plant pot, wouldn't it, on the windowsill? Yeah, lots and lots. But yeah, no, that's worked. I'm really pleased with that, actually. The using a heavyweight interfacing and H640 has worked really, really nicely. But we have got some of the Styleville, I think that's what it's called, coming in. So if you but then scraps of bosal, where are they? I had some bits here. I don't know if I've got any left. Oh, I don't think I have, actually. I had little time, because you only need little bits for the petals. You know when you're doing bigger projects and you cut out and you've always got bits of bosal left. You don't want to throw it away because it's expensive, but actually it's a good way of using up those little bits. Okay, right, that's it for me tonight. I'm just waffling now. Waffle, 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 as per usual. Gone off on a tangent. But yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that. That's worked quite well. I quite like that. I get double lint now. Haha. I'm going to have to fill both of them. I'm going to put on all the weight I've lost again over Christmas, aren't I? With the amount of lint chocolates I'm going to eat. Right. Sarah's here tomorrow at 1 o'clock, as usual. She is doing pan caps, which were a really cute little idea when she was telling me about it. So, yeah, she's going to do pan caps tomorrow. We're full next week as well. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. I've got Sewing Street on Sunday. Please do tune in and watch and support. That's all really lovely when you do. The template for this, if you want to have a go yourself, is already on the website. It's a digital download. Oh yeah, Eileen, have a little go. Have a little go at your retreat. Have the templates there. Have a little go at them. That would be lovely. I'd like to see, if you've got pictures, I'd love to see it. I want to see pictures of your Manx as well, please, lovely. But yeah, I'll see you on Sunday. Well, I won't see you. I won't actually be able to talk to you, obviously, because it's TV. But hopefully you'll join me on Sunday. I'm on at 9 and 11. And then I will see you next Tuesday. But Sarah's back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So I'll take care. There's some new fabrics in the shop, so we might do a sneaky little what's in the boxy type thing on Friday as well. Bye, my darlings. I'm going to go make some tea. Have a good evening. Take care.